They talked about it as the Thieves Cant. I don't know if you ever saw it. There was a really good program once called The Sweeney, and they were right up to date with the changing vocabulary on the streets. It was really, really good. That's one of the things you just love watching it for. And the villains of those days, I suppose, had, and it went right back to the 1700s. They were various languages that were spoken in London, so there was sort of approximation to English, and then there were French, and there were Dutch and various Scandinavian peoples, Germans, Jewish peoples, because the East End, Whitechapel through that area was very much the rag trade that was largely dominated by Jewish families, and jewellery. And so there was this conglomerate of languages, and bits were taken from all of them, and they created their own vernacular, I suppose. And this is a song about a bloke who's a thief. He ain't a particular robber, as he said. He'll nick anything. And he ain't above daisies and clobber, that is shoes, daisy roots, and clobber, which are clothes. And he goes off to do a job, a burglary job, and he's coming back, and a copper wants to have a word with him, and he tries to fight his way out of it, but he ends up getting got free stretch for the job, got 3 years, got nabbed, and then says that his girlfriend sold off his home to her mates in her gang. So it's all a bit confusing, but there you go. Understand, if you please, I'm a travelling thief. The Gonaths, they call me the gypsy. On the rattler I rides when I take me brief, and I slings on me back an old kipsy. If I pipe a good chap, well, I'd dodge for a wedge, but I ain't a particular robber. I'll smug any snowy I sees on the edge, and I ain't above daisies and clobber. I was taking a ducky to get back to town, 'cause I'd come on the rattler from Dover, when I saw as a reeler was roasting me brown, and he said, I will just turn you over. Well, I guyed, but the reeler he gimme hot beef, and a scuff come around me and hollered. I pulled out a shiv, but I soon come to grief, and with the screws and the James I was collared. I was full eaten, then got free stretch for the job, and me trip cussed the day that I seen her. She sold off me home to some pals in her mob for a couple of £1 and 10 dinar. Well, it's doomies and homies what gives me the spur, and I'm told be a muggy tells whoppers that I ought to have greased to have kept out of stir the dukes of the narks and the coppers. Goody.